Welcome to a special Saturday edition of Golden Days. We go live on the weekend sometimes, but that usually involves a post-game show. For example, tomorrow, Sunday, we're going to be live again because the Warriors are going to be in a different country, literally taking on the Raptors in Toronto. But we're live because Chris Haynes, who thankfully is back in the business of NBA reporting. He's part of the Amazon Prime NBA on Prime crew. Prime and Amazon are the same thing. I apologize. And I saw his report yesterday. I believe this was during either halftime or pre or I can't. It was during one of the segments. I think Prime had a doubleheader of NBA action, and so Chris Haynes had an exchange with Taylor Rooks, a couple of them, talking about your Golden State Warriors. And when I saw that he mentioned Anthony Davis, I immediately reached out to Chris's brother, Mark, who hosts the I-80 crossover with me on this program. And hopefully we'll do that again soon. We scheduled Tuesday nights for that program during the NBA offseason. Then the season starts, and it turns out our teams are playing like every Tuesday. So we get together when we can. But I did reach out because I had heard a lot of similar things about the Warriors being interested in Anthony Davis, but it was mostly secondhand. And then when I found out that Chris was reporting on this, I reached out to his brother, and I'm like, is this true? I just want to make sure, that this isn't BS or that this isn't maybe him just, kind of speculating. It's very true. And it only feeds into what we've been talking about on this show for months in regards to how to make this trade work. And there's really only one path, unless folks know of a different path. There's only one way, as far as we've researched on this program, how to get Anthony Davis on the Golden State Warriors. And it's by trading Jimmy Butler for him. And for the simple reason that their salaries are literally, no exaggeration here, to the dollar. I don't know if it's to the penny, but it's to the dollar, identical. That's why that trade works. The Mavericks are in CBA hell, meaning the salary cap and the position they put themselves in this season makes it damn near impossible for a trade to be greenlit involving the Dallas Mavericks. We figured out some ways to make cheaper deals work. For example, we figured out ways on this program using trade machines to get, let's say, getting Klay Thompson back, some smaller deals in the process, but to get Anthony Davis and that $54 million here, there's only one avenue, that, as far as I know. And again, you folks out there, you can use trade machines yourself. They're free. They're public. If you figure out a better way to get AD here, that's even if you want Anthony Davis. But bigger picture, the reason why I'm hosting this show today is because this is very plausible. This is very realistic, and I'm going to explain why. And it does, and there is a correlation with what Steve Kerr was saying this week about the fading dynasty and the fact that Kerr is not vested in the future of this team. His only focus is on the current iteration, this aging core that's fading by the day. And so, and basically, the messaging we're getting is that as long as Kerr is here, I don't know if that applies, if this also applies to Stephen Curry, but at least as long as Steve Kerr is the head coach, there will not be an emphasis on the future, on the big picture, on what happens, let's say, next year, on how greatness is sustained. And the AD trade, if this happens, would check off a few boxes in terms of how the Warriors can stay relevant now, how this trade would not hurt them in the future, and why it might make some sense. But the depressing reality, above all else, is that given Steve Kerr's motivations or lack thereof, and the fact that he's peculiar and it's hard to make things work with the man, considering how nitpicky he is about personnel. This might be the best case scenario for your Warriors. Does it make them championship contenders? Unlikely. Does it provide a jolt of energy to reinvest into this team for the year, interest-wise, passion-wise? Yeah, because it's something very different and new. Jimmy Butler is also not entrenched in this community. I don't think he's been a Golden State Warrior for even a year yet. So if you're going to move on from anyone while keeping this core intact and staying relevant, it's likely going to be Jimmy Butler, someone who, again, this team is paying $55 million approximately to, so they can be 16 and 15, so that they can't even beat the Timberwolves when Stephen Curry's out. What I'm trying to say is that the return on investment with Jimmy Butler, it hasn't even been a year yet, but we've seen enough to know that Jimmy Butler alone with Stephen Curry and Draymond Green is not going to result in a championship. It just isn't. We can come to that conclusion. And it's a huge reason why, if you're going to move on from any piece, Jimmy Butler is likely it, right? The Warriors are playing the nostalgia game. Jimmy Butler does not bring nostalgia. Draymond Green does. Stephen Curry does. Steve Kerr does. Anthony Davis is a star. Brings up ticket sales. Again, makes you think about what the Warriors can be this season if AD stays healthy. And there's also this part of it, the JK part of it. If Steve Kerr's rhetoric is to be taken seriously, that the Kuminga minutes don't exist because Kuminga and Jimmy Butler and Guy Santos basically play the same position, the mindset of the Warriors front office is, if we make this trade, Jimmy Butler for Anthony Davis straight up, are we also seeing Kuminga come out of the murky depths of DNP world? Meaning, is there a possibility that Steve Kerr and Joe Lacob had a conversation where Kerr basically reassured to Lacob that if Jimmy Butler's traded, Kuminga is going to get minutes? You might be essentially making a trade of Jimmy Butler to the Mavericks for Anthony Davis and Kuminga to be back active, or for Guy Santos maybe to have a bigger role. At a bare minimum, all the spacing issues that are currently present with this Golden State Warriors team that seems to bug and irk Steve Kerr like it's a tick, that goes away. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that the Jimmy Butler fit, if we're going to talk fit, is it good? Butler feels like he's the odd man out in all this. Again, for the reasons I listed. No history with the community, with the team. You make this big trade. You're approaching a year since that trade. What are the results? So if you're going to try and keep things interesting while keeping this core intact, this might be one of the only ways to do it. And Chris Haynes, and we're going to play these sound bites in just a second, did talk about the Kuminga situation. He might be traded. But here's the reason why I'm not jumping to that conclusion is because we haven't heard from Joe Lacob. All I can make observations on, all I can espouse opinions on are the actions of others, right? And Joe Lacob's actions until this point have indicated he loves this kid, doesn't want to trade him for a role player. And if there's any good news, Dub Nation, is that this ownership group is cognizant enough to realize what the makeup of this team is and what the situation is presenting itself. Meaning, if this team goes all in on this season, if this team makes a blockbuster trade where they trade Jimmy Butler for some big piece and they also trade Jonathan Kuminga and you're getting back role players for him, and it doesn't work out this season as expected, they're cognizant enough to know that there is going to be basketball still played in 2026, 2027, and they don't want to roll out a relic of a team out there. They don't want to roll out a bunch of nobodies. They want to have something established and in place. So, yeah, Kuminga might be gone, but Kuminga might also be very much a part of this. And he's clearly the symbol of the strife between the front office and Steve Kerr. And this AD trade might be the best thing imaginable, which is crazy to say. But when you look at the math, when you look at the other 29 teams and what trades do and don't work, this might be the best solution. It might be. And again, we'll talk about this. I'll happily bring the audience on today because I imagine you have a shitload of questions to ask. You might have your own suggestions. You might have seen something on one of these trade machines that appeals to you. But bottom line, as of right now, Jimmy Butler for AD and maybe, let's say, a 2032 first-round pick might be the way to go. And the reason why you might have to include a first-round pick down the road is because you want to entice the Mavericks somewhat. Part of the enticement is Jimmy Butler has one less year on his contract than Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis has 2 guaranteed years remaining after this year. Jimmy Butler has 1. And if you could throw in a pick that's, let's say, 2033, right? Like 7 years down the road to keep things interesting and relevant now. And best case scenario, Anthony Davis stays healthy. I know that's a huge if, but if he stays healthy, who the hell knows? You suddenly have size. Draymond's happy at the 4. Kirk can roll out whatever gimmicky 3-guard lineups he wants. If you have a front court of Draymond and Anthony Davis, and if Davis is healthy, it's a whole different equation that you're rolling out there now. So, and again, Tracy McKendall in our chat saying, Cy, no on that. I feel you. But we're all limited by our options. And unless someone has a better one, and again, the audience will be welcomed. I'm all ears, but I don't see what the better option is, realistically speaking. Not hypothetically, not in a perfect world type scenario. I'm talking reality. And the reality includes a brutal CBA that makes life very difficult for trades. And much more importantly, reality involves a head coach named Steve Kerr, who's stubborn as F, who only does things his way, who is only vested in one young player on this team, and his name is Brandon Pajemski. So, and Joe Lacob keeps worrying about nostalgia and worrying about what the fan base wants, and a huge chunk of this fan base likes Kerr. That's a sad reality. It is. But anyways, so let's break it down. I'll bring the audience on in just a second. We'll hear Chris Haynes and what he said in his reports and expand on that. The Kuminga part of it was very fascinating because Chris Haynes reporting that Kuminga and Steve Kerr have had multiple discussions. That was news to me. So we'll break it all down and hopefully have some fun in the process. We're powered by FanDuel. The program is called the Golden Days. Let's go. Welcome to the program. My name is Cyrus Saatsaz, your host for the afternoon. You can follow me on Threads and Instagram at DogWild. Over on Twitter, my handle is @SurfJournalist. The program. Sorry if I'm sounding redundant there. I feel like I messed something up. I'm trying to adjust. I'm trying to multitask. Apologies. The program on both platforms at Golden Days Pod. Speaking of FanDuel, our official sponsor, our title sponsor, we have inventory space available for local sponsorships. If you're interested in partnering up with this ever-growing show that we produce here on a near-daily basis, email us, warriors24pod@gmail.com. Again, warriors24pod@gmail.com. That is the best way to reach out to us, not just for sponsorships, for really anything. If you ever want to reach out and even just want to vent, emails are open. FanDuel, again, the official sponsor, title sponsor of the program, and the official sportsbook for both Golden Days and the Believe Network. I'm on their website right now. It's sportsbook.fanduel.com, where the Warriors, excuse me, I'm all like choked up today. The Warriors are 3.5-point favorites over the Toronto Raptors. That game tomorrow in the beautiful city of Toronto, and it also begs me to look up the NBA injury report and see who will be available and who will not be available for that Warriors-Raptors game. Very lengthy injury report. We'll start with the Toronto Raptors and see who's available there. The Warriors have a somewhat length. No. Oh, yeah, there is some. The Warriors have some injuries as well. I'll get to that in just 1 second. For the Toronto Raptors, RJ Barrett is listed as questionable because of a right knee sprain. I don't know what's going on, man. I need some tea or something. Colin Murray Boyles listed as questionable with an illness. And Jakob Poeltl is out because of a lower back strain. Maybe that's why the Warriors are favorites because the Raptors are missing their lumbering giant in the middle for the Golden, or maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how Jakob Poeltl's doing this year. For the Golden State Warriors, LJ Cryer, who we have not yet seen in a Warriors uniform this season, one of their two-way players, he will be on assignment with Santa Cruz. Seth Curry is out with a left. I've never seen a sciatic nerve issue show up on an injury report in my life. Now, this year, we've seen it with LeBron James. We've seen it with Al Horford. And now I'm looking at Seth Curry on the NBA injury report being listed as out with a left sciatic nerve irritation. And maybe that's what this whole glute issue really is all about. Lots of old man injuries. Malavi Leon's out. He's also on assignment with Santa Cruz. We have not seen him dress up in a Warriors uniform yet. Two other and these are the most notable names on the injury report. DeAnthony Melton, who I thought had a solid game on his part, relatively speaking, for someone who's mired in a shooting slump, but making up for it with solid play elsewhere, out for the game tomorrow with a left knee injury management issue. So he's taking it easy. My guess is because this is the first of a back-to-back, that they're going to hold him out for this game and then play him in the second game. And the second of that back-to-back is going to be Monday at Brooklyn. So immediately after the Raptors game, the Warriors will head to the airport and go through customs and then fly back to the States. And they'll take on the Nets the next night. So I imagine DeAnthony Melton is going to be available for that. And then Brandon Pajemski is listed as probable. So I expect him to play with a left abdominal contusion. So he's got a bruise in his abdomen. So that's the injury report for tomorrow's game. And again, the line, the Warriors favored by 3.5. The money line, if you think the Raptors are going to pull this off at home, plus 146. The OU, 226.5. And again, all those lines courtesy of FanDuel, the official sportsbook and sponsor of this program. Now, Chris Haynes, let's talk about, let's play his reports on the show. This was during, I believe, I don't know if it was halftime, post game, but it was part of the NBA on Prime coverage. They handled the Friday night broadcast, and Chris Haynes talked about Anthony Davis and the Golden State Warriors. Intriguing shit, and we're going to talk about it. And we'll bring the audience on because I imagine a lot of you have a lot to say about this possible trade that may go down. And again, before I play this, I want to show you one graphic real quickly here, just to remind you that pulling off a trade with the Mavericks, not easy. And what this trade right here, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see in front of your screen a trade that a trade machine approved, which is Jimmy Butler going to the Dallas Mavericks, a team, side note, that he was attached to last season during the whole process where he was leaving the Miami Heat. He was his agent, the Heat were exploring trade options. The Dallas Mavericks wanted him. That's another important variable to note here. It's not like the Mavericks are just some random team being linked to Jimmy Butler. Jimmy's from Texas, and his hometown is not that far from Dallas. I think it's closer to Houston, but those two cities are about a 3 to 4 hour drive apart. And so Texas is home for him in a lot of ways. And the Mavericks were very interested in him. And then Anthony Davis and Jimmy Butler, again, their salaries match to the T, to the dollar. It's a massively huge reason why this trade is being explored. Kind of makes me wonder if the Warriors had this in mind when they signed Jimmy Butler, because of the fact, again, that their salaries match perfectly. Nonetheless, and again, we've shown this repeatedly. I've explored the Mavericks time and time again in trade machine discussions, largely because of all the assets they have and some of the pieces that the Warriors may be interested in. But this is the only one when it comes to Anthony Davis that I have seen greenlit. Maybe you folks have found others. I know a lot of you out there want Draymond and Kuminga a bunch together in a trade for Anthony Davis if this trade will go down. But again, you're talking about trading Draymond Green, a player who may be untouchable with this Warrior squad. And not to mention, we know how the ownership feels about Kuminga. So here is Chris Haynes. And this was his report. Hopefully, if you're watching the recorded version of this, this clip does not force us to edit this out because of copyright issues. The NBA has been pretty vindictive with me on this front. So, anyways, hopefully you'll hear this. If not, I'll summarize it the best I can if you're watching the recorded version. Good news for the podcast audience. None of these ever get clipped out. It's usually a YouTube problem, so you will not have to deal with issues, editing issues there. But here again, Chris Haynes talking to Taylor Rooks on Prime's coverage of the NBA, which they handle Friday nights typically. And the discussion focuses on Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler. I think his name is mentioned in this. I do know the Golden State Warriors are mentioned in this. Here's Chris.
All right, trade season has arrived in the NBA, and who better to get us up to speed than NBA contributor Chris Haynes? Now, Chris, let's just get right to it. One name that keeps on popping up is Anthony Davis. What is the latest on AD?
Well, Taylor, sources tell me that the Atlanta Hawks remain very intrigued with the possibility of acquiring Anthony Davis via a trade. Now, the Hawks, out of all the suitors out there that are interested, the Hawks, they possess a pretty attractive asset package, right, that could make things interesting. But if you look at, where AD is at in his career, he has this season and next season left. And after that, he could become a free agent with a player option. So any teams that try to acquire him will have to really consider giving him an extension. And so with that being said, if a deal was able to materialize between the Hawks and the Dallas Mavericks, I was told it would not involve Trae Young. Dallas would likely want expiring deals, young assets, and picks, and probably likely to include the number one pick from last season, Zach Ricochet. So with all that being said, the Hawks and Dallas, that is something definitely to monitor looking ahead to the trade deadline.
Okay, so potential news around AD and the Hawks, but Trae Young off limits. Good to know. Outside of Atlanta, what are you hearing about any other teams that might be interested in acquiring AD?
Yeah, today I found something very interesting. I came on last week and I told you about what the Warriors are looking for a big man, rim running big man, protect the paint, lob threat. I was told they're contemplating making a case to acquire Anthony Davis as well. And so with that being said, I was told that Dallas was not that fascinated with what Golden State has on its books. And so if the Golden State Warriors did really want to make a true play at Anthony Davis, they would likely have to acquire some more assets or involve another team. So again, with that being said, the Warriors are really trying to figure out ways to assure themselves that they have a real defensive dominant starting center going into the second half of the season to help Stephen Curry and Draymond Green out for a championship push.
And Anthony Davis turns 33 this year. So the idea of an extension, I do think is comical. There is no chance in hell Anthony Davis, if the Warriors do make this trade, is going to get a contract extension. That player option when he turns 36 is far more likely of an avenue. But look, I see people in the chat bringing up the fact, for example, that Anthony Davis doesn't like to play the center position. I feel you on that. My guess is he's going to get sold on the idea that him being in the front court with Draymond Green will considerably alleviate those concerns, right? Look, I'm not sitting here advocating for Anthony Davis. What I am sitting here telling you is the reality of the situation, which is that for the people who sit here and say, for example, Hamza Kassem writes, if the Warriors trade Jimmy Butler for Anthony Davis, we are cooked. The Warriors are cooked already. They're a play-in team at best, as is. They're not interesting to watch. They're borderline boring at this point. This team as currently constructed has virtually no hope imaginable of anything besides, again, a play-in berth, and then you hope for the best. Just praying. That's literally where the Warriors are at right now. So what this trade does, it shakes things up, instantly brings a fresh face, not just a fresh face, a fresh superstar face to the team. That'll immediately infuse energy. It gives the team a real big. There's also the other massive concern, of course, that he's not durable. Very valid concern. And that's where the whole Rick Celebrini faith has to kick in, right? I mean, the man is one of, if not the best healers in the game as the chief of an NBA team's medical staff. But again, it's all wishful thinking. Anthony Davis is currently dealing with a right adductor strain. Apparently, it started cramping up. They're diagnosing it now as a strain. But that's the reality. They're cooked regardless, which is a huge reason why I could see this being a type of move that the Warriors would do. Something short-term, right? A short-term, spice it up kind of move. You're not pissing off, the core of at least Chase Center season ticket holders because you're keeping the main faces. The nostalgia stays in check, right? Not much nostalgia with Jimmy Butler. I agree wholeheartedly with Todd in our chat saying that with the team, well, not the Nick Claxton part, that's not going to do shit. Throw that out. But Lowry, Markkanen, and to a lesser extent, Jaren Jackson Jr., now you're talking. And I don't know if Jaren Jackson Jr. is available. He might be. I don't know what his asking price is. Lowry Markkanen would move the needle the most for me. But I also don't know what the asking price is for him either. There's one other clip I want to play, and Hamza Kassem. It's not, again, this is not about what I want. You're writing in the chat saying I want Jimmy gone. I love Jimmy Butler, actually. I'm just trying to be realistic about this. All right. Jimmy Butler's making what, $55 million? And he was part of that Blockbuster deal last year. You fortunately didn't give up a ton for him. But you got to be realistic about this. With Jimmy Butler, they could not beat Minnesota last year. With Jimmy Butler, they're 16-15. At a certain point, you have to face the reality that, A, you have Steve Kerr as the head coach of this team, which complicates everything because he's a finicky, picky son of a you-know-what. And also the fact that with this current squad, they're not doing jack shit. They're mediocre. They're going to beat the crappy teams. They're going to lose to the good teams. They're going to be a play-in team. You know, that's the reality of all this. I can say this with certainty. The Warriors front office did not expect, when they traded for Jimmy Butler, their head coach to respond to that by saying, yeah, great move, but I'm not going to play him and Kuminga together. And this is where everything gets screwed up. You have a head coach who does things his way. The front office wants Jimmy and Kuminga playing together. What we saw at the beginning of the season with Kuminga, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green as your front court, side note, kicking ass, is not what Kerr wants. So you're left with the choices of either fire Kerr, which would make the most sense, but Joe Lacob's apparently too scared to do that, or keep making moves to keep that core of Kerr, Steph, and Dre happy while staying relevant until we can all move on from this. That's the reality, man. And Hamza Kassem's asking, there's 4 months to recover from our record. How are you going to recover? With what you have now? Now you're perpetuating insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And what move is out there that's going to catapult you into the top 6? If you need a reminder of who is in the top 6 in the standings, happily we'll provide that for you in the Western Conference. OKC, San Antonio, Denver, the Lakers, the Timberwolves, and the Rockets. You're not better than any of them. The Warriors are not sniffing them. They would if the front office had their way, but they're not because Steve Kerr gets his way. So you got to make moves that acquiesce Kerr, which again is why this whole thing is insane. It's why you have episodes of this program like yesterday's where, yeah, I get impassioned sometimes. Side note, always focus on the context, never on the tone, please. I was born and raised in a very loud family. Sometimes I get loud. It's a cultural thing, folks, at times. There's a movie that came out a long time ago called My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which resonated with my family and I, and I'm guessing a lot of you out there tremendously, because it made those of us who grew up in a loud, weird-ass family suddenly feel normal for once. But that's how some of us roll. Point is, focus on the context, please. And Steve Kerr is maddening. One other sound clip I want to play for you from Chris Haynes, and that is his report on a frustrated Jonathan Kuminga. Now, if you want Kuminga gone, you're going to like this report. I don't know if if this report means anything in terms of trades, but he did reveal a lot in terms of internal dynamics, which to me is always riveting and interesting. So let's hear from Chris Haynes one more time. And while we're doing that, I'll post the link. If anyone in the audience wants to come on and talk about the craziness that is the Golden State Warriors, you're welcome to do so. One more time, though, let's hear from Chris. And this is him talking about the Warriors, Steve Kerr, and Jonathan Kuminga.
Stick with Golden State. What can you tell us about any other potential moves for them?
Well, Jonathan Kuminga, that's something we've been monitoring all season long. He started off as the starting small forward for the Warriors, had a pretty, good start, got injured, and when he came back, he's been in and out of rotation, and as of late, he's been out of rotation. It's been a very frustrating year for Jonathan Kuminga. There are rival teams out there that believe that once January 15th comes, that's when Jonathan Kuminga can be traded. When that comes, they do not expect Jonathan Kuminga to still be a member of the Golden State Warriors past the trade deadline. So he is a name to watch as this time goes on. Kuminga has been very frustrated. I was told he's had numerous meetings with Steve Kerr, and those two just haven't been on the same page. So at some point after January 15th, rival executives expect Kuminga and the Warriors to part ways via a trade.
Thank you, Chris. Great stuff.
And again, I would, if what Chris was reporting was he's hearing from other NBA teams that Kuminga is on the trade block, that would move the needle for me in terms of thinking that Kuminga is going to be gone. And I'm not sitting here saying Kuminga is going to stay. I have no clue because we're not hearing from Lacob. We're not hearing from Mike Dunleavy Jr. on the issue. But what Chris was saying in that report is that other teams think he's going to get traded. Yeah, no shit. Because this thing is a nightmare. In what other world does a head coach treat a lottery pick like this for 5 years? Not to mention all the mixed messaging with the front office. Do you think the front office is happy that Kerr's telling him in the offseason, I can make it work. I can make it happen. JK and I are good, only to see what's going on in front of us? It's ludicrous. It's batshit crazy actions on the part of Steve Kerr. What was interesting in that report was the fact that Kuminga and Kerr have had multiple discussions about it, and JK just can't see the floor. Now, this again goes back to the AD trade and why I think there is a lot of reality to this. Why this is a realistic, a plausible trade is if you make this move, AD brings what Jimmy Butler does not, and that besides the size aspect of it, and that's spacing. Okay, AD can stretch the floor. AD can hit threes. He's a stretch big who's also a superstar. He's going to get minutes. He's going to get a run. And while he's out there, suddenly what Steve Kerr's reservations about playing three guys who don't necessarily bring quote-unquote spacing that so many people value, Steve Kerr chief among them. And I'm not saying spacing's bad, but sometimes I feel like there's a strong overemphasis on it in terms of shooting space. It's anyways, that's a whole other note. But my point is, if Joe Lacob is dead set on keeping Kuminga, because here's another aspect of the Kuminga thing that you folks have to consider. The Warriors do not want to see him go somewhere else and turn into a superstar. That is a massive fear on their part, and justifiably so. Like, that is regret smacking you in the face over and over and over again. which leads to the very high likelihood he's not going to another Western Conference team if you're trading him. Because why would you want to see that 3-4 times a year coming into your building or otherwise smacking you in the face with vengeance? You don't think Kuminga would be motivated from day one to beat the shit out of the Warriors every time they play each other? So that's a great fear as well, right? And maybe, I wish I had the answer to this, but maybe the conversation between Joe Lacob and Steve Kerr is Kerr's telling Joe, I can't play Dre, Jimmy, and Kuminga together. And maybe Joe Lacob's going, can you play Dre and Kuminga together if Jimmy's out and we replace him with Anthony Davis? And if maybe Kerr's telling him all the things Joe wants to hear, yeah, I can make that work. And who knows if he actually would, but there's a very strong possibility that Steve Kerr's also gone after this year, right? I mean, that's another variable you have to keep in mind. Hamza Kassem, who's asking great questions, it brings up, is it possible to get Anthony Davis without trading Jimmy Butler? I have not found that possibility. I've used those trade machines extensively. I've figured out ways to get a smaller dollar players like Daniel Gafford, Klay Thompson. There are ways to do that. I don't know how you do that, including Kuminga, because Kuminga makes $22 million and those guys are making like 14, 15, 16. But there are avenues to get those guys with smaller deals. But to get Anthony Davis, I have not found any way other than Butler for him straight up. You can include picks because picks don't affect the CBA, right? So the dollars are just matching regardless of whether or not you include picks in that scenario. Picks don't represent a dollar value in trades. So that's the only one I've seen. And it's why I think there's a lot of validity to these reports. Ace 1900 dropping $4.99 saying, the Warriors are cooked if Brandon Podziemski is the future. Agreed. He's not a bad player, but he's not a player worthy of being third on your team in minutes. That's the part that, but again, if you get Anthony Davis, doesn't Podziemski suddenly look a little better out there? Instead of having, Jimmy Butler as your center, which Steve Kerr sometimes does, which is utter lunacy. Like, doesn't that look a little better if Anthony Davis is your center? But you're absolutely right, Ace, that Steve Kerr is only interested in developing one player. And when we say developing, just playing. Hall of Famer Rick Barry was on this show just the other day, and he made it very clear. An NBA coach has one power at his disposal, and that's minutes. That's it. And Podziemski is the only youngster who gets those consistently. So I feel you, man. I feel you on the frustration on that front. I think Podziemski can serve an important role if he's your point guard. But the moment he's out there playing the two next to Steph, oh my God, it's just all I think of every time I see that is opposing teams looking at that defense and thinking to themselves, did I win the lottery? Am I in the NBA? Is this college? What's going on here? I got two little dudes, like neither of whom can keep. I mean, Steph can at least stay in front of you. He's got the foot speed, but he's still 6'3" and he's aging. But Podziemski does not have the foot speed to stay in front of these guys, and it's rough. It's rough. Julian, Bashir, Bad Hombre, Devil in Limbo. That's our three audience members who are in the green room. We start with Julian. How is Saturday treating you in Brooklyn, brother? Good to see you.
Going pretty well. Good to see you. Merry Christmas. I don't think I've wished you that.
So. Merry Christmas, you too. Yeah, I was experiencing a power outage. It was brutal. It really was brutal, man. There was nothing fun about it. It sucked. Glad to be back. I feel a lot better than I did 24 hours ago when I had just come off that power outage. Happy holidays to all of you, yourself included, Julian. How is I understand the East Coast is being hit by a huge storm. Is that true?
Yeah, it happened last night. Maybe not a huge storm, but it's a white Christmas. It's looking very good over here.
Is the snow brown yet, or is it still white?
No, all white. It looks good. Very solid.
Awesome. What's on your mind?
Well, speaking of the AD trade, I think you made one of the most important points that I think most fans, because fans are selfish in their needs, is that this is a business, and if you look at trends, what Brooklyn did when they traded for Garnett, Ray Allen, and others, and even what they did recently when they traded for KD, Harden, and Kyrie, they ruined their future because they're trying to win now. And if you're Joe Lacob, you're thinking 2 years down after the Curry contract is up, and what is there? And as the team is constituted right now, it's not going to win a championship. I think we've seen enough. We would definitely have more wins if the coach had sat Buddy Hield a long time ago, like everyone else had, because we have been looking better the last three games, even though we're not playing competition, but we look better without Buddy Hield out there. And
imagine how much better they look, Julian, if Podziemski got added to that DNP list.
I would not DNP him, but it would definitely be like 10 to 15 minutes.
Or a reduction, a reduction. Honestly, I can say this with confidence. If you just DNP'd him, that would be an improvement. There are too many, provided injuries aren't an issue, but there's too much talent on this team to pretend that Podziemski is deserving of these minutes. But I'm also with you in that I wouldn't hate it if he's getting 10 to 15, but anything beyond that, and you're making a mistake as a coach, I think.
And I'll say one great thing that we're seeing, and I'm not sure it's going to last. I think it's Steve Kerr's, meeting halfway. He's been playing the bigs, and we've been seeing the versatility of the bigs we have if the coach plays them. Trace Jackson-Davis, he comes in and does what he does. You have post, and then Horford, he gave us something last night, but we're not here to talk about that. The reason why
but before we move on from that, I'm glad you brought those names up, because one possibility with an AD trade, and again, a huge caveat in this is whether he even is on the court, whether he stays healthy. I will say the odds of that do increase, I think, with Rick Celebrini as his primary medical care physician. But I bring that up mostly because I don't think it's lost on the Warriors that they could be rolling out, and the front office, that they could be rolling out lineups with Quentin Post and Anthony Davis, right? Or even Trace Jackson-Davis and Anthony Davis. AD sees himself as a 4. So in all these minutes where Draymond Green is off the floor, you might have a big lineups like that. And maybe that's part of the mindset in the interest in Anthony Davis. I don't know. Is that crazy to you or not?
No, it makes perfect sense. And the thing is what are those conversations that are happening behind closed doors? Like you mentioned, have the conversation happen with Kerr and Lacob where Kerr's saying, I can't play Kuminga next to Green and Butler. He's like, okay, well, could you play Kuminga if Butler wasn't here? Are those type of conversations happening? If we traded for AD, which centers can we keep to play next to him? What would the rotations be like? So that's but I don't know how much confidence I have in the front office, because we really don't know Mike Dunleavy. We knew Joe Lacob, but honestly, we haven't heard anything from Dunleavy. We don't know his personality. We don't know if he is willing to make the big moves. Only thing he's done really is traded for his friend that he played with.
You know what's funny, by the way, too? I'm looking at the chat right now, and there's this one guy, Mike Camp, who is bringing up this analogy that me blaming Steve Kerr for everything reminds him of Trump blaming Biden. I actually, the funny thing is, I actually see it as the reverse, that all the every Kerr apologist, the way you sound to me, is like a Trump supporter continually blaming everything on Biden, even though it's part of the past. It's like, it's in your case, like your scapegoat is Kuminga, your scapegoat is Draymond Green. It's everything but the primary problem, which is Steve Kerr. So that's my pushback to you. I actually see the lunacy in the logic of just continually pretending Steve Kerr, who has all the power in this dynamic, who's abusing the power in this dynamic, and you just want to brush him off like he's not the main part of the problem. That is psychotic to me. Calvin, a person in the chat, saying that I'm tripping tonight because Jimmy Butler shoots the 3 better than Davis. Statistically true, but perception's important as well. And the perception of Anthony Davis, even though he's a career 30% three-point shooter, is that he does space the floor, and coaches routinely give him the green light to shoot threes. You'll see him on offense oftentimes lingering in the perimeter to space the floor because he brings bigs out. Jimmy Butler's not doing that, is what I'm trying to say. Jimmy Butler is someone who plays iso ball, who does not like lingering outside the three-point line. He's not comfortable being a three-point shooter. Anthony Davis is. So I follow you in terms of the stats, but when it comes to actually seeing these two play on the court, Jimmy Butler's never been a spacer. Jimmy Butler's never been someone who just puts up threes for the sake of it. He's doing it mostly because the shot clock is running out. Anthony Davis will intentionally set himself up to shoot wide open threes. And that spacing alone is so valuable to Steve Kerr that I could see that being a selling point. And again, maybe I'm wrong on this. We're spitballing here. These are hypothetical trades, and I'm just trying to explain to you why I think there is validity to this possible swap. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, man. I'm not sitting here saying I'm confident that this is like the best trade imaginable. I just don't see what the other options are. I don't see what else is out there that the Warriors could do where it's actually an easy trade to pull off, right? The salaries of Jimmy and Anthony Davis matching to the T, the fact that Jimmy Butler is not entrenched with the Warriors organization or the Bay Area with long-term history, like these are variables that I think do matter. And the fact that the Warriors, if the goal is to not shake up the core, I don't know what your options are here. If you're not moving Jimmy Butler, I don't know what else there is to do that's going to actually give this team hope. Like any other move is just desperation. Look, this is desperation too. This is a panic trade too. But there is at least like a 5% probability that there could be glory at the end of it with a trade like this. If you're talking smaller deals, like where we're trying to get role players, it's like 0%. Either way, it sucks. To me, until Steve Kerr's gone, everything is hopeless for the most part. I don't know, Julian. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, I think the most important thing that you're saying is that it's fans versus business right now, and so everyone's saying, okay, we know we need to make a trade. So are we just going to make a trade that's going to keep us competitive for those bottom seeds, or what trade out there really gives us what's a Hail Mary trade? And so we all understand that AD is fragile, but we've seen if he's able to, even recently, I brought up some of his stats. So mind you, he missed a lot of the season and he just came back, but he had a 35-17 game, a 31-9 game, and that's him just coming back into form. So yeah, we saw him pull his groin, and it is comical and hysterical every time he tweaks something. He just goes on a bench. So right now, the Hail Mary to win a championship and still secure your future, it's just a conversation, and that's what the topic is. So not whether we like it or not. And right now there's probably not a player that we can trade for that boosts us above OKC, Spurs, and Nuggets right now.
Fair. Yeah, no pushback on that. And again, for the people in the chat who keep saying, can we trade Draymond and Kuminga for AD instead? No. A couple of reasons. There's multiple obstacles to that idea. If maybe first and foremost, are the Warriors willing to trade Draymond? I don't think they are. So that alone makes the idea of trading Draymond for the most part moot. But let's say for the sake of argument that they would be. And folks, if you're watching this on YouTube, I currently have a trade machine showing. This is courtesy of Spot Track. Their trade machine lets you remove the trade deadline restrictions, meaning if you want to include Jonathan Kuminga in a trade, he will not be available until January 15th. And then the Warriors would have a window from January 15th to February 5th, which is when the trade deadline is, to actually make a deal for Kuminga. That's if Kuminga gets moved. I know it feels obvious that he's going to get traded, but to me, it's like I like judging based on actions. And the actions of Joe Lacob have repeatedly shown he loves this kid. I don't blame him for the love. I also don't blame a lot of you for just wanting something new and a fresh start. I get all of it, but I'm just trying to be realistic here. And for example, if you're trying to get Anthony Davis for, and this is why I'm displaying this trade machine right now, so y'all can see what the reality is with the CBA, which is a nightmare. And the Mavericks are the ones that are in a really bad spot because I think they're up against the first apron where they're hard capped. So if you include Anthony Davis and you send him to the Golden State Warriors and you don't send Jimmy Butler back. So let's say you want to send Kuminga and you want to send Draymond, right? So Kuminga and Draymond combined make about $48 million and change. Anthony Davis makes $54 million and change. And the salaries have to be nearly identical because the Warriors can't take on extra money either. And this trade fails because the Warriors will be bringing in $5.7 million extra. So it's like, all right, so who can we throw in that matches $5.7 million? The only name I can think of is Al Horford. I wonder if that could work. See, this says trade fails, even though the dollars are almost identical, because the dollars aren't actually identical. This is how crazy it is. We are right now. I just have a trade showing to the audience of Draymond, Kuminga, and Al Horford. Their salaries combined equal $54.16 million. Anthony Davis is 54.16. Kuminga, Draymond, Al Horford combined is 54.07. Trade fails. Do you see how difficult it is to make a deal with the Mavericks? Like you either have to be pennies, like to the penny, you have to be right on it, which is why I do wonder. I really am fascinated if the Warriors have been looking at this from day one, meaning the moment they made that Jimmy Butler trade back in in February last year, if this was something they were looking at as a plan B or C down the road. But I don't know how this works. I just don't know how you can get Anthony Davis. And see, here we go. Like, people just want to throw in all these trades, like get in there saying Buddy Hield, Kuminga, and Dre for AD and Najee. Did you just not see how impossible it is to make a trade with the Dallas Mavericks? Here, I'll placate you and make that trade just to see if it works. Okay, we're gonna throw Buddy Hield in the mix. Where's Buddy? Buddy. I was thinking the movie Elf when I hear the name Buddy. Buddy. So we got Buddy Hield in the mix. He wants Kuminga and Dre. So we'll take Al Horford, Big Al off. And so now we have Dre, Kuminga, and Buddy Hield for Anthony Davis and Najee Marshall. This trade currently fails because the Warriors would be bringing too much money in. Folks, I have tried all sorts of trades with the Mavericks in the trade machine. There are some trades that work when you're dealing with smaller amounts. Like Clay to the Warriors, I've made that work. Gafford to the Warriors, PJ Washington to the Warriors. I have been able to make those kinds of deals work. Anthony Davis, no. The only trade that I have been able to pull off is AD for Butler. That's it, straight up. And believe me, I've tried making it a 3-team trade. It doesn't matter, man. Like, the Mavericks are a nightmare in terms of their CBA situation. So that's part of the reality of this. It sucks. And it's also why I think Jimmy Butler for AD has some reality to it. Yeah, Riz in our chat saying maybe add another team. I have tried that. Believe me, it's Dallas's cap situation which screws this up, and the fact that they are so high above, and the fact that they're pushed up so close to the first apron, and they can't go over that first apron, and then the Warriors can't go over the second apron. They're both hard capped, but those are different amounts. Like, the Warriors can't go over 207. The Mavericks, I believe, can go over 195. Anyways, Julian, any final thoughts? Sorry,
I'm right there with you. So I'm doing trade ideas as well, and the closest I got was Green, Kuminga, Podziemski, and Post, and it's only off by like less than $100K, and it still won't go through.
That's what I'm saying, man. And again, that you don't encounter those issues as much when you're dealing with lower salary players like Clay and Gafford, and I'm guessing it's because these lower amounts are bringing you below the aprons. I don't know exactly why, but it's yeah. And again, you have Edward Scissorhands in our chat saying it's a bad trade, it sucks, but it's realistic. What? Well, look, it's bad if Anthony Davis is not healthy. If Anthony Davis can come to the Warriors and be healthy and actually show up, is it still a bad trade? Yeah. Julian, let me ask you that. If Anthony Davis can stay healthy while playing for the Golden State Warriors, is that still a bad trade?
No, no. If you trade Butler to AD straight up, and AD gives you 80% of his playing time to the level that we know, that is a phenomenal trade on paper.
Yeah.
If you can just tweak the settings and say no injuries on, because one, you keep Moody, you keep Kuminga, you keep Post, a lot of your young core, and you're going out there with a guy that we've never had a person that demanded a double team in the post, and AD demands a double team in the post and anywhere that he's on the floor. So yeah, it's just, if he stays healthy, it's a phenomenal trade business wise and talent wise. And those that think that AD can't stay healthy, we've been crossing our fingers that Jimmy Butler stays healthy, because he also has a history of getting injured as well. It would suck that if he got injured later on in the year. So I would think, it's one of those things where if the front office says this is the only trade that actually makes us better on paper and secures the future, otherwise we're trading pretty much the whole entire bank to get something else, like a Michael Porter Jr. or Jaren Jackson Jr. For a trade that may not boost up to those top levels. And I just encourage people to watch the other teams in the West. We can make a trade just for trade's sake, and it's not really going to work. We still are too small, too unathletic, and too slow.
And I want to real quickly, Julian mentioned someone in the chat, I think Fable was their handle. I was saying on the ESPN trade machine wasn't letting them trade Jonathan Kuminga. That's because the ESPN trade machine is not factoring in restrictions that will be lifted on January 15th. It's very frustrating. It's also why Spot Tracks has been so invaluable. It's the only trade machine I've been able to work with. I think there's at least one more, but Spot Track is what I've been using currently. Thanks to the audience member 2 months ago or whatever it was who enlightened me on that. They're the only one that I've found so far. And I'm not saying it's the only one, but it's the only one I use where you can remove those restrictions. So folks, have fun. Okay, like trade machines are fun. It's one of the best parts of following the NBA, in my opinion, is having this resource where you can actually have a simple tool that lets you use these hypothetical trades. The depressing part about it is when you start making these trades with the Warriors, you realize, shit, there are not a lot of options. And then it makes you maybe think like me. Like, God damn you, Steve Kerr, for constantly just forcing things your way instead of like factoring in what the front office is envisioning and doing. And it's maddening, man. Any final thoughts, Julian, as we have Fire Kerr, I don't know if that's Quentin or Cam, and then Devil in Limbo to wrap it up.
The only final thought is that in order to do the trade, you have to have a bit of unattachment to players. So that's the kind of front office we need, is no attachment, and just say we're going to do it. And I think if they did make this trade, because I actually, when I saw his name Chris Haynes, I tried to see if there's any YouTubers that were doing the trade. The Warriors have been interested in Anthony Davis since like 2019. And so it's something that they've been thinking about. Like, you can find old videos on ESPN and other outlets that were talking about it 7 years ago. So
I hear you.
If that trade goes through, I think it will be similar to last year, because no one wanted Jimmy Butler last year. We said no, trade injury problems, not what we need. And then we grew to love him. So if the trade goes through, we'll be mad until the first game Anthony Davis plays. And if he stays healthy, I think we have a shot.
Beautiful. Happy holidays. See you tomorrow night?
Yep.
All right, brother. Julian Bashir, always a pleasure. ATCO Pest Control confirming a roach inspection appointment for January 2nd. I want to make sure you have the right address. It's 1 Chase Center Way, and make sure the office is Steve Kerr's. And there was no rant about Jonathan Kuminga because he hasn't been playing. So that's the only part two parts you got wrong in that. One is the address. Make sure I think it's 1 Warriors Way. I apologize for the inspection. And it's Steve Kerr's office that the appointment is for. And again, there have not been any Kuminga rants in a while because he hasn't been playing. It's a dead subject. An ATCO Pest Control adding follow me at Dog Surf Roadshow. Did you take over my old handle on Twitter? Good for you. I hope some of the followers are still there. Let's go to Bloomer Vibes, who's depressed today. How are you doing, Bloomer?
Oh, hey, Cy.
Hey, what's up?
A little under the weather.
Oh. Sorry.
Yep. No, it's fine. Yeah. So, I'm really this whole thing with this trade stuff is like it's just so bad.
Real quick, pest control. Don't give me another call. Just go January 2nd. It's One Warrior Way, San Francisco, California, 945 or 94. I forgot the zip code. Was it 94503? No, I don't know. And just make sure attention Steve Kerr's office. All right. Otherwise, we're good. No need for another call. We're set. Go ahead. Sorry, Bloomer.
No. You're good. I was just.
I'm sorry you're not feeling good either.
Yeah, no, thanks. I was just saying all this trade stuff is really like baffling at this point because if Steve's always going to be in charge, there's no point in whatever we do unless
exactly.
Like you remove it's kind of like this, it's kind of like a snake, right? You remove the snake's head, and then all of a sudden things are looking bright. And Steve right now is the snake's head. You got to remove that, and then everything will be going good.
By the way, look at this guy, Damian LaRoche, one of our OG Golden Dazers. I've been wondering where the hell you've been. Welcome back. I don't know whatever your respite was. I hope it was peaceful and you are re-energized. Your energy is missing. Welcome back to one of our OG Golden Dazers. Sorry, Sleepy. Or Bloomer. And side note, I feel you on that. This is why it's so frustrating. What can you do when you're just handcuffed to this head coach, man? That's who just makes all these personnel decisions that are backwards. It's craziness.
Yeah, it's just bad, man. Like, if there's one thing, if it's like, like you've been saying, like Terry Stotts or even Jerry Stackhouse taking over for like the head coaching position or something like that, and then if you can make some key moves here and there on the roster, then you can definitely get something going. Maybe possibly. Maybe I don't know. Top 6 could be a stretch, but like maybe get close to almost there. You know what I mean? Like some kind of like last hurrah. But with Steve Kerr still at the helm, and you're not really having any significant changes after what he said in that press conference. Something about like he said something about like we're a fading dynasty and stuff like that.
That drove me insane, man. I could not believe like he's waving a white flag. Like, what is this? And it goes entirely against what ownership wanted. Joe Lacob made it very clear some years ago he did not want a scenario like Kobe Bryant's farewell tour. This reminds me so much of the San Francisco Giants in Barry Bonds' final seasons, where they were just milking those home runs while the team sucked ass. And they knew they were going to sell tickets because Bonds was crushing it. And so it was just a business approach. With the secondary focus on winning. That's what this reminds me of right now. It sucks. It really sucks.
Yeah, I mean the only bright side I can see in this is like we just said just a moment ago. Like there has to be changes in the head coaching department. I mean, obviously Joe Lacob has to make his part, or has to do his part and make some moves of his own. But Steve Kerr. Like I'm done giving him chances to change. Like I've been trying to like see if he can make some changes, at least from last year to this year, and it's not really going the way that he's hoping it for to go and making fans satisfied. And yeah, at this point, like that Christmas game, like okay, kudos to you. You won that against a mediocre Mavs team. Okay, so now what? You're just gonna linger with the same squad, and when the trade deadline comes in within like a couple of weeks, now you're just gonna, hey, we're just still gonna roll with the same guys. We're not really gonna make that big of a move. That's loser talk. And then saying about fading dynasty, that's terrible. That's not what you want from your head. That's not what you want to hear from your head coach. Like, and then how do you think that? How do you think that makes Steph feel? I mean, obviously Steph is not gonna say anything, but I feel like he's feeling a certain way, but he probably doesn't want to express it.
Well, Bloomer, are you a parent?
Oh no, I'm
okay. So this is and this may only resonate with the parents out there, but Steph has 4 children, and if you've been following the Warriors since Steph started playing for him, he had no children when he started playing for the Warriors. Then we were introduced to Riley, who was named after Warriors GM Larry Riley. And she was a sweetheart, right? And she was sitting next to him on the podium when they won the championship. And the whole thing's endearing. We're smitten with her. And then there's a second daughter. And then the boys start coming. And suddenly now at 37 years of age, Stephen Curry has 4 kids. And some parents don't mind putting work first, right? Some parents don't mind putting career ahead of all else, and sadly, there's a detriment to that, and that your kids may resent you down the road because you didn't spend time with them. The reason why I bring this up is Stephen Curry's a family man, and he's a damn good family man, and that shit matters to him in terms of the priorities of his life. I highly doubt a 5th championship is ahead of making sure his 4 kids are happy and safe and set up for life. It's also a very time-consuming job being a good parent, not a parent that just provides, but a parent who's actually there for you, going to games, helping you with homework, just being there to listen when they're having a bad day. Steph is a good parent, and I'm not going to, and I don't think anyone should penalize him for that. And the reason why I bring that up is because there's only so many hours in a day for any of us to be able to do everything we can. In Stephen Curry's life, there just are not enough hours in the day for him to be a father of 4, for him to be still at 37, one of the greatest basketball players this game has ever seen, for him to still spend time in practice, traveling for all the games and this stuff. He also has an entertainment company, and maybe you can find some fault in that, right? But I doubt anyone will, and you're not going to find me criticizing him for that either. My point is, he only has so many hours in a day. He doesn't have adding GM/coach. There isn't room on his plate for that. He's tapped out. And so on one hand, I can understand the frustration of people looking at him going, why are you so complacent while your head coach just kind of sabotages this thing? On the other hand, I can also completely sympathize with him because it's not his job. He's not being paid to be a GM and be a coach and do all this other shit. It would be nice if he spoke up and pushed back on Kerr, but he's not doing it. He's got enough shit on his plate. He's all the joy that we've experienced these last 12 years with this dynasty starts and ends with him, with Draymond Green as the unbelievable complimentary piece and all these other pieces that were with him along the way. But that's the reality of it, man. He's got a full plate. I wish he spoke up, but I'm also not going to, be criticize him for it either, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say with Steve though. Like he's always talking about like what he said, like Curry is like the sun of the solar system or something like that. I didn't even understand what he was talking about until like it hit me for a second, and I had to think a while. But I'm like, you can't be saying stuff about that if you're not even gonna build a good roster around Steph, knowing that okay, you got Jimmy, you got Green. You got all those guys around Curry for the main stars or like main veteran help. But now you need some more better supporting cast. And you haven't done a good job doing that. So now you're kind of everything's pointing back at you, knowing that, hey, Curry needs help when he says, now who's going to come in? And so far, I mean, look, like there's been some players that actually surprised me in some games, but how long can that last, like in a consistent level, right? Especially at a high level, trying to get to that 6 seed that we're all talking about. So I really think if the like right now, if I'm being really serious right now, if the Warriors really, really want to get to that 6 seed, they got to make changes, and they need to make it now. And that starts with removing Steve Kerr, because I'm done. I'm personally done with the man, and he needs to go. I mean, I would want, like you said, I think, Terry Stotts would be a good replacement. Or like, I personally said like Brett Berry or like those guys, like some sort of like similar to Warrior basketball minds, but at a young age that can help the younger players. Like something like that, like a new, fresh, positive change that can lead the future generation of the Warriors, while also keeping the main OG Warriors still in play, right? Because Steve Kerr, he's not doing the job right. So it all starts with there. That's all I gotta say about that.
No, it's a good call. And Sleeper, I hope you feel better, man. Is it just like a cold, or what are you dealing with?
Oh no, yeah, I've just had like it's like a flu-like symptom, but I'm feeling better. This happened before Christmas, but I'm feeling a little better.
I'm glad you're feeling better. So you're on the up and up. All right, good. So you just got all that lingering shit that takes forever to shake off, right?
all that stuff. But hey, no, that's part of being
human.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Part of having a vessel that your soul or your conscience or whatever you want to call it encompasses.
Yeah,
it's part of the package.
Real quick, so you told me if I was a parent. So I'm not a parent, but me and my lady we're working on it.
Good luck.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out what's the best idea right now. But we're just still young lovers, and we're just young. That's it.
Congrats on being a love, brother. It's to me, it's the emotion that gives me hope. There's more to all of this.
Hey,
are you and your partner? Have you guys done the dog thing yet as a warm up?
I mean,
it's not a bad idea. I'm just saying, like, it's a good warm. It's because look, man, relationships are complicated. Sorry to be diving into this subject. Like, what do I know? But what I've learned, if anything, is relationships are very complicated. You have two individuals who are trying to make it work, and you're both growing and changing in the process. Parenting is very hard. Start with the dog. That's what I would recommend. Just start with the dog.
Yeah,
get all the kinks out of the way in terms of responsibilities and frustrations and all that good stuff, and then you get all the good moments as well, right? The dog's like, you know,
yeah. I mean, we're both 26, so we're still fastly young. We still got to be active and do our own stuff, but we'll make time for stuff like that. Hey, and you also you got to find some time too. Sai, get some love too.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah,
Bloomer, we'll see you soon. All right, I hope.
Yeah. Oh,
right,
prayers, man. You
beautiful, brother. Beautiful. Great to hear from you as always. I'm glad you're feeling better. Have a great night. Your final thoughts, real quick. Do you like is the AD trade like a shrug for you? Is it just a thumbs down? Is it maybe I'm interested? Like, what's your take on maybe AD coming to the Warriors?
Oh, okay. I mean, last thing. I mean, look, I agree with Julian in the last thing where he said like, oh, if AD is like 80% healthy, back to his comment on that, like it just somewhat healthy and he can contribute in some way, then he's useful. But if he's just going to be kind of like you know what I mean, like an Al Horford, like, oh, you bring him in and you expect high things from him, but he's just mostly going to rock the bench because of whatever injury he's lingering with, then he's kind of a waste of space. So I rather personally, I would just keep Jimmy with this whole AD trade. But if he's somewhat healthy and contributing, then there's something to talk about.
Yeah.
So that's all I gotta say about that side. Thanks again, man.
Thank you, Bloomer. I love you. I love your energy. You've always been one of our biggest supporters. Thank you. Damon LaRoche asking if the Warriors have an early exit from the playoffs. Is Kerr gone in the offseason? I will say this, Damian. This season has given me the best hope that it's the final season of the Kerr regime. I think ownership is really exhausted, is what I think. I think they're tired of this shit, just like a lot of us, you are. I don't know though. Where did I was about to go to? All right, let's go to Devil in Limbo. I had either Quentin or Cam. There he is. He's back. You were next in line. How you doing? Good to hear from you. See from you. There you go. We even see you now. Good. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Good as to be with this.
Are you Cam?
Yep.
Yes. Okay, I got it right. Good. How are you doing, Cam?
Doing cool. I still got to make that GoFundMe. I'm gonna get to that for sure.
Let me know when you do, man. I'm supporting you. I'll make a QR code for it. We'll put the link. I'll do my best to promote it, man. If you make that happen.
Have you ever seen that Michael Jordan meme?
Of course, the crying meme. Yeah.
F them kids. No, I'm just playing. I ain't gonna do that. But I love them kids though. But hey, Steph, stop playing. All you gotta do is say 2 words. It ain't about your kids. It's about the Warriors fans that been with you from day one. We love your kids. I know you love them too. But all you gotta do is say you don't want this coach no more. You know you do not like this man. He pulls you out when you're on the heater. He takes you out the game. He don't let you go get a Clay record. He plays with you every time. He's giving you horrible lineups every time. And to speak on the Anthony Davis, I wouldn't trade. I would not trade Jimmy for him. I would try to get Draymond and everybody but Kuminga out of here for that trade. But we
got to be realistic, man. What if the Warriors are dead set on not trading Dre? Then what do you think?
This is a horrible organization. They're a $1 billion company. They don't make no sense. I mean, I kind of get it because Dre might could be good if he plays around the right size players, but the way he got cooked by Randall last year, that's pretty much it for me. Like feel me, we love Dre, but sometimes it's time to go. Steph,
You know,
is the
Joe
smart
Lacob
play.
wants Dre to be the next head coach of this team. That's a huge reason why I don't think he's going to get traded. Like, Lacob loves Dre.
Cut him, fire Kerr, make him the coach right now. Because I don't think we could do it with Kerr because he's still not playing Guy Santos. I don't understand the Kuminga thing, but okay, we know you're not messing with Kuminga, but not messing with Guy, still running these 3-guard lineups. He's never going to stop until he gets fired. And then I seen an article say he going to come back like next year. I said, oh no, we cannot let that happen.
Cam, here's the biggest reason why a part of me wonders if the AD trade is set up as in the front office's mind, it's set up as really a Jimmy for AD and Kuminga trade. The reason why I'm thinking that's the line of reasoning here is remember the first round of the playoffs last year, Warriors-Rockets. Kuminga gets DNP the final, I think, 3 games of the season. It comes back to bite him in the ass. He's DNP'd.
Only reason we can get to play the Lakers and sweep them.
Agreed, 100% agreed. And it screwed him big time. But in the first round of the playoffs, Jimmy Butler takes that super hard fall, right, and gets hurt. Kuminga goes from being DNP'd and out of the picture to suddenly like starting. And that was Kerr's mindset. Like again, we have to factor in how Kerr sees this. His perception of the game is fascinating. Even if it's just maddening, it is fascinating. And the way he views Kuminga is he sees him as a piece of the chessboard that can only be put on the board if the other piece that looks just like him, in this case being Jimmy Butler, gets knocked off, right? That's what he sees. Like he sees Jimmy Butler and Kuminga basically as two queens on a chessboard, and you can't have both. You can only have one or the other. If the queen gets knocked out and the match league gets replaced, that's how he sees Jimmy Butler and Kuminga. That's the only reason why I think this might be what they're doing here, and I could be totally wrong. I could be wrong, but that happened, you know?
For sure. Yeah. Okay. So
I also don't know shit.
We keep Kuminga as Trey Jimmy. I might rock with that just so Kuminga could get some play, but we just got to focus on getting Kerr out of here. Like I just can't believe he's still the coach. I can't believe he got that extension 2 years ago. And like you said, he went 10-2 and went right back to his old ways as soon as he got the extension. It's just insane what he does. And where is Seth at? That's why I'd be like, Curry, go speak up for your little brother. What are you doing? Like, tell him, like, bro, play my little brother. Do what Giannis do. His brother get playing time, and he ain't as half as good as Steph Curry.
Hey, AB Prep Boy in our chat, by the way, bringing up a Kuminga trading Kuminga for Daniel Gafford and Marshall. Let's see if that works. I got the trade machine open right now. Let me bust that out again and just see if that's even plausible. But bigger picture, the reason why I've explored Daniel Gafford trades, the biggest reason why I'm not aggressive about it and don't bring it up often is because I don't see that trade happening because Gafford doesn't space the floor. Like you already have a Daniel Gafford on this team. His name is Trace Jackson-Davis. And I know Gafford's better. I get it. What's up?
Said for $2 million.
Yeah, for $2 million. Exactly. And we see how Steve Kerr rolls. Like, is Steve Kerr going to give Daniel Gafford minutes? Is Steve Kerr going to give Najee Marshall minutes? But let's see if the trade even works, right? And here's the other part of this: when you're thinking about these trades for Kuminga, how does that trade help them next year? Like, is this team gonna resemble anything interesting a year from now if you make that trade and it does nothing to help you? Like, what then? What are you looking at in training camp summer 2026? That has to be factored into this as well. But with that said, let's reset this trade. And we're going to be sending Daniel Gafford, who makes $14.3 million, and we're going to be trading Najee Marshall to the Warriors as well. He makes $9 million. So far, we're sending a total of about $23 million. And again, when you use these lower amounts, I've seen some trades work. So this might work. Let's see. This trade currently failed.
What position is Marshall?
With the Warriors, I'd say a 4. With the Mavericks, he's listed as a 3. But the trade doesn't work anyway.
PJ, Kerr gonna have that man starting center. Watch. crazy. Like, come on, man.
How sad is it that you might be like right? And by the way, the trade doesn't work. I just tried. It doesn't work.
What position is Marshall?
Like a 3 or 4. But like you said, on the Warriors is a 5.
Yeah, I'm tripping, my bad. But yeah.
What are you doing this Saturday night, man? What's your plan? What are you up to?
Chilling at the house. I ain't doing nothing. I'm old and washed up now, man. I don't really go out like I used to. Well,
No, it's cool. I respect that, man. That's what happens when you get older. That shit gets old, right? Like all the fun that used to come with going out suddenly gets boring. That's aging, man. Welcome to maturing. But what do you do at home, man? Is it video games? Do you have the family? Like, what's the plan there?
Chilling at the house, trying to find some girls, you know.
Find some Warriors trades. Are you on Hinge going, dude? You got to love the Warriors, or you're out?
Oh yeah, Family Black, all that shit. BLK, POF, we on all that. Now I just be chilling on YouTube, watching videos, TV.
Cam, I'll say this, man, and again, sorry that this show is slightly turned into a dating advice episode, but I will say this: I'll share any experiences I've had that can help you folks. Warriors games are a great date idea. Fantastic.
No, they got money. Get in the
if you can afford it.
Right.
That's a whole other factor. Cam, get that GoFundMe going, all right?
A good little thing to do is, though, whenever we play Sacramento, go up to Sac and watch them there. It's way cheaper.
Way cheaper. Dude, Mark Haynes I couldn't believe when he told me that that fans have abandoned that squad. I don't blame them. The Kings are, I mean, as frustrating as the Warriors are, my God, better than the Kings, dude. That's a depressing situation, man. And again, dude, you can't force owners out. That's a black hole you're in, dude. When you're stuck with an awful owner, that is just, there's no getting out of that. You're just stuck. Oh, you poor people out there.
Before Steph retired, we need to have at least a game a year at Oracle. Like that'll just blow the water out. Better make so much money if they bring one game back to Oracle a year. What
the Kings, by the way, KKS saying that Golden One was full today, and the Kings beat the Mavericks, which really does not make the Warriors win over them feel impressive. But I digress.
What do you think about the Spurs' new the win where they hit the drum after they win? Like
dude, the Spurs are legit. Look, the fact that Warriors beat them twice, that was an accomplishment.
They got their own version of Light the Beam.
You cut out. What's up?
I said they got their own version of Light the Beam. Like they hit a little drum and the whole stadium clapped. You seen that?
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
They had Wemby going crazy.
That's good for them, man. I like local traditions like that. I don't know if look, the beam's lit tonight apparently, so good for Sac. But dude, the Spurs, god damn it. I mean, never mind the fact that you have Wemby, but Dylan Harper is real. Stephon Castle is real. I miss Harrison Barnes. I really miss that guy, dude. Like Harrison Barnes would be such a nice re-addition to this team. I really miss that guy. The Senator.
He cannot hit a big shot for nothing. He cannot hit a big shot. Even Draymond, I forgot what playoffs was that. I think the last time we beat them in the playoffs, Draymond was like, "We know he know we gonna miss it." I kind of don't like Harrison Barnes because he the reason. If he would have just played good, we wouldn't have needed KD. KD will have 0 rings.
Good point. You're right.
Steph would not be the same.
You're right,
and, bro. Just what is wrong with Kerr sticking up for the refs when Steph is getting hammered out there? Why don't you speak up for your fucking players, man? Oh, we got to get rid of this dude. And don't get me started on the Fade and Dynasty. How are you an owner and you just let him say stupid stuff like that when Curry is still a top 3 player in the league?
I don't know, Cam. Cam, well, whatever you do tonight, have fun. Happy holidays, brother. And get that GoFundMe set up, all right?
I will. Hi, Miss Tracy. No.
Cam, have a good night, brother. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Devil in Limbo, who's always bringing spice to this. I'm going to call Devil in Limbo our fill-in closer. I think Chardal is sick or has something going on health-wise. Hope you're okay out there, kid. So Devil in Limbo, filling in. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Are you able to hear me okay?
I hear you loud and clear. I'm going to get the club music going. and then I'm just going to sit back and hear you wax poetic.
That's so funny. I feel there's a lot of pressure, man. I feel a lot of pressure to be the closer. I mean, I can't start all as the
devil. Don't feel no pressure. You don't feel you're fine. Go attack.
Well, I definitely feel pressure because I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you a question about your sponsorships.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it live. You know, during the broadcast, while the other audience members are here, because I like your show a lot, and I don't normally would go out of my way to care about a show or anything, but given the era that we're living in, the circumstances, I thought I would, join the broadcast and ask you directly, just in front of everybody, because I always like to keep it transparent. But yeah, there is a possibility of a big sponsor that might be interested in your show. I wanted to tell you about it and email you. Yep, Worst 24 Pod. So great. I will email you tomorrow about it, and maybe we can discuss further. The only reason that I was like, oh wow, I think this would be a good sponsor for Golden Days if this other guy somehow got the sponsorship. I don't see why Sai can't get it either. And the reason why I can kind of help you out is because I know the CEO of the platform. So
let's discuss it.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that. And I was not expecting to be the closer, so I wanted to keep it short because I got
made an appearance. So he might be making an appearance. He showed up in the chat and said he's feeling better. I just sent him the link, so you might not be. So no pressure. Okay, great. Because I wanted to keep it short. I got another call I got to do in a few. Good.
So unfortunately, not too much of a big rant this time. last time I went. What did I say? I said something about Kerr being a Marxist.
You said a lot, and it's entertaining, man. What's on your mind tonight?
Yeah, but forget this. Imagine that this tech tycoon who is the owner of the team and he is an investor for a lot of tech companies or whatever, and then here comes Kerr like, oh yes, I know how to run a team. I'm gonna run it like a tech startup. And like Joe Lacob is like I'm a slap you like Batman or Robin for even thinking of trying to do that. The whole reason I own a basketball club is so that I don't have to fucking run anything like a tech startup, you fucking doofus. It's like, why would I ever my whole thing is that I want to not think about the tech startup scene or anything like that. It's already enough for me to be I don't want to deal with that, in terms of basketball, I think here's every few days or every week, my interpretation and the heuristic of it seems to change because I find the Kerr Kuminga relationship so fascinating. It's an amazing soap opera. So this time around, here's my take. This is this week's take, okay? This is what I believe now, okay? It's changed. Now I think that Kerr is protecting Kuminga. Boom! How about that? Now I think he's protecting him from the media. He doesn't want Kuminga to be in the middle, because in the middle of the spotlight. He said, fuck it, I'll sit you down. Let's not give you in the spotlight. Let me be the spotlight. Let me be the hero of this whole entire whirlwind of news surrounding you, surrounding me, surrounding the squad. No. I'm going to sit you down. Just chill for a little bit. Watch this. Check this out. Boom. Draymond thing happens. You're going to sit down even more. We're going to take care of it. But that's just what I think right now, because it's like, how in the world can this kid just continue to sit down? But anyway, I'll leave it at that, man. I gotta get going. I will send you an email about this.
Oh, I thought you were just warming up. I thought you were just warming up.
I mean,
you weren't kidding. A short and sweet one. Okay. Devil, email me for sure, man.
Awesome. Yeah.
I think the audience is shocked right now. I'm shocked. I thought this was just minute one. I'm blown away. Devil,
no, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Think about it. You know, all the Warriors fans, we started attacking Kuminga. We started attacking Kerr. And because here's the thing. Here's one thing that you guys should also keep in mind. Family members of these people like Kerr, especially Curry, they're watching shows. It's what Sherry said, you know, you'd be surprised who watches your show. So don't be surprised if every now and then one of Curry's kids is watching your show, bro. You know? And goes and reports it back to daddy. It's yeah, you're not gonna believe what Sai said this time, you know? And Curry's well, you know, we gotta.
I never worry about that with Steph. I think I've been very supportive of him, and I hope look again. Steph is the one guy where there will be bias on this show. He's next level great. If anything, I'm impassioned because I feel like he's earned 5 titles on his resume. 4 is not enough, and that's what disappoints me about the Kerr era so much. Is I feel like Steph is underachieved under his.
Oh hell yeah! That dude is he's such a man. I don't know how to tell this. Imagine being in the finals and 2 of your comrades fucking fall down. One of them breaks their fucking knee. The other one ruptures their Achilles. What the fuck? It takes a fucking man to deal with that shit, you know? Yeah, you should have 7.
Email me and have a great rest of your holidays, or at least your weekend, in case we hear from
you
in the new year.
All right, y'all. Take care.
You too, Devil. The Devil in Limbo. By the way, someone in the chat, I love this audience. Someone in the chat brought up Zach LaVine for Jonathan Kuminga. The salaries aren't even close. Never mind the fact that I personally don't want Zach LaVine. Sorry, that is a strong opinion I will espouse. I don't want his lack of defense. I don't want his ISO play. He stops offenses. The Kings were absolute morons making that deal. I have no clue why they went out and traded for Zach LaVine. That was one of the dumbest things imaginable. And I think the ignorance would be extended to the Warriors if they made a similar trade like that. You're also factoring in, this important variable to consider. Kuminga to the Kings sets Kuminga up for 4 revenge games a year. This front office does not want to see Kuminga traded and then turn into a superstar on another team, and then on top of that, see him 4 times a year coming 2 of those in your building directly with vengeance on his mind. But besides that, Zach LaVine makes $47.5 million annually. Jonathan Kuminga makes 22.5. So you'd have to throw in some other big dollar contracts. Well, not big dollar, but Buddy Hield. And again, that's if the Kings would even accept that. Yeah, they probably would. Actually, they probably would. It would just come down to whether the Warriors want Zach LaVine. I say no. I say hell no to that. Tammy McDaniel saying Michael Porter Jr. Maybe. Again, the dude is not known for a high IQ. Denver moved on easily, happily, for good reason. What he's accomplishing this year is for a Brooklyn team that is pure garbage and awful. With that said, I wouldn't hate it. I don't know if it's going to happen. We'll see. Yeah, Todd, it keeps bringing up it brings up a name, and it's the only name that to me would move the needle in terms of keeping your team in contending status. Now, you have something for the future, as someone who would be a great fit, and that's Lauri Markkanen. And again, we don't know what the Jazz were asking for him a season ago. Besides Brandon Podziemski, we know that was a name that was mentioned. We know Draymond Green brought up the fact that Danny Ainge is greedy. He asks for the world with pretty much any trade imaginable. But we also don't know what the exact assets were. I mean, look, if Danny Ainge was asking for a package that included Kuminga, Podziemski, Moody, and 4 first-round picks, right, which I could see happening. I get it. But if it was a deal where it was like those players and like one pick, maybe even two, yeah, the Warriors F that up royally. But anyways, Julian Bashir is bringing up Domantas Sabonis. And again, that goes back to the whole spacing thing, right? Like he's not an elite three-point shooter. I know he chucks them up at times, but I don't know. And he's slow-footed, so like the defense, look, clearly Kerr wants speed and he wants space. Those are his caveats. And Kuminga fits the speed part, not the shooting part. Jimmy Butler doesn't do the spacing part. It's why he even begrudgingly plays him and Draymond Green together, which is crazy in and of itself. I don't know. I wouldn't hate it, but look, again, if Sabonis was something, wouldn't the Kings be good? It's Sabonis with the Pacers didn't result in shit. Sabonis with the Kings didn't result in shit. I don't know. And then KKS is saying Kerr wants speed. Doubtful. You also maybe right there. Maybe I'm wrong there. I don't know. It's kind of depressing. What's not depressing is this man. Is your throat feeling better, Shardall? Hi. Always great to hear from you. Our closer. Oh, wait. I know why he's not talking yet. Shardall, it's my fault. I apologize. On the show now, our closer.
Stay at home, son.
There we go. Shardall, how are you doing? Sorry about that. Do you need a second close? This time without the music? I apologize. The music was playing. Let's try it again.
Stay at home, son.
Shardall, how you doing, buddy? You doing okay? Shardall, what is the how can people spell days in the name of the show Golden Days so they can get a 10% discount on in our merch store, which is available on our YouTube account?
Golden Days in reference to the Matthew McConaughey movie Dazed and Confused.
Thank you for that. Are you doing okay? What's new?
Golden Days in reference to the Matthew McConaughey movie Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, we know what the name of the show is, but how are you doing? Are you okay? Is your throat still bugging you?
Golden Days in reference to the Matthew McConaughey movie Dazed and Confused.
Well, I tried. I'm going to leave you up, Shardall, as I do the scoreboard for this Saturday, December 27th. A lot of games going on tonight. Again, the Warriors are back in action tomorrow. They take on the Toronto Raptors, where again FanDuel lists them as 3.5-point favorites. There's 2:48 remaining in the fourth quarter right now. The Orlando Magic 117-114. They're up on the Denver Nuggets. This game in Orlando. The Nuggets are on the road, but there's still time left. We don't know what's going to happen there. The Phoenix Suns leading currently with 3 minutes and change over the New Orleans Pelicans. Shardall, are you there?
Hi, Sai. I'm a big fan of your YouTube channel. I love all your content videos on the platform. I think you do a great job.
Thank you.
The Anthony Davis and Jimmy Butler trade, I don't agree with it. I want Jimmy Butler. I don't want to see. I want Anthony Davis to come here. I want Jimmy Butler to stay in the Warriors, and I want Davis to stay on the Mavericks. He's injured, by the way.
He is injured. You're right, but it's not a serious injury. He's going to be back soon. But I feel you. Shardall. Are you feeling better? Is your throat improved?
I'm feeling better. I've been taking a lot of. I've been drinking a lot of chicken soup, drinking a lot of hot tea with ginger and lemon, to cure that sore throat. I'm feeling better, and I'm glad I can be on the show tonight.
How did you get strep throat? That's not an easy one to come down with. Who gave that to you?
I just got it.
That's a shame. That's an evil one, man. Did you have those white spots in the back of your throat?
I didn't get those on the back of my throat.
Good. I remember when I was
How are you doing this evening?
Okay, man. I'm doing better, in a better mood than 24 hours ago when I just come out of a power outage of 2+ days. That was not fun, Shardall. I can't imagine how upset you would be if you were forced to live in a cold, dark cave where you couldn't light a fire either for 2+ days. It was miserable. What would you do if you were in the dark for 2 days with no cell connection either? That's the part that makes it torture. There was no cell service. So I had to play like video games on my iPhone for 2 days and read books when I had daylight, which was very limited. That was. What would you have done for 2+ days?
I would be, if I was in the dark, I would be miserable. If I had no electricity, no sound, no nothing, I had to read a book or had to read the newspaper.
I
would be miserable.
Twin Empire in our chat saying sleep. I had like 12-hour sleeping days because the house was freezing. The bulldog is like snuggled with me. That's what I did mostly. I was just in my bed with my dog, just playing on my phone. It sucked. Chardal, how are you though? Are you good? You're feeling better? You don't want Anthony Davis? Better. Yeah.
And I don't want Anthony Davis to come to Golden State Warriors. I want him to stay on the Mavericks and Jimmy Butler on the Warriors because I think Jimmy Butler is good on the Warriors.
I agree. I like Jimmy Butler a lot too. I don't know if he's going to still be with the team, but I feel you. I feel you on that. And maybe I'm wrong. There's only one final score, by the way. Every other game today is still in action. And that was the Sacramento Kings who beat the Dallas Mavericks at Golden One Center. Russell Westbrook leading the way with 21 points, 9 assists, 113-107 was the final. Cooper Flagg, he's going to be the future of this game. He's special. 23 points, 6 rebounds in the loss for a Mavericks team that drops to 12-21. The Kings improved to 8-23.
What are your thoughts on the what were your thoughts on the Christmas Day game between the Mavericks and the Warriors? The Warriors won that game by 10.
I only watched like half of it because I was in a blackout. The power came back on halfway through. It was absolutely insane. But Chardal, let's flip the script for a second here and talk Niners. Because our San Francisco 49ers, I know you love them, you follow them, you cover them. And if they win out, I believe there's 2 more games. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. There's 2 more games. If they win those 2, they are the 1 seed in the NFC. Is that correct?
So they are going to be the number 1 seed if they win those 2 games. I believe they play the Chicago Bears and then they play the Seattle Seahawks. 2 big games. I mean, those are 2 crucial games for this team to win. I mean, they have to win both of those games. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. They have to win both of those games for sure. They have to beat the Bears and they have to beat the Seahawks.
Let's start with the Bears game. That's tomorrow?
That's tomorrow at 5:20 p.m. on NBC.
Oh, it's a Sunday night game. That's a huge
Sunday night football on NBC.
So the Warriors and the Niners are going to be competing, right? So the Warriors game, let me see what time that is.
And the Warriors are playing the Raptors.
Oh, that's an early one. So we got a crazy day Sunday. This actually works out. I didn't know this. It's an early game. The Warriors and the Raptors tip off at 12:30 p.m. Pacific. And meaning the game's going to end by around 3. Our post-game show will end right when the Niner game starts. That's going to time out beautifully, Chardal.
And then the 49ers play the Bears at 5:20.
That times out beautifully. Do I have a good soundbite for that? Do I have a good clip for that? We go with Sizzler. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Damick in our chats with the trade proposal, Kuminga, Moody, and Al Horford for Trey Murphy and Herb Jones. I'm sure there's a lot of trades out there that do ultimately work in the trade machine. Would New Orleans do that? You'd probably have to throw in like 2, maybe 3 first-round picks. I wouldn't hate that trade, I guess. Would you hate that trade, Chardal?
Which trade?
The one that's on the screen right now. Jonathan Kuminga. Here, let me get the trade machine going again. And see if let's see if Damick is actually correct here. Let's reset everything. Let's select new teams. We're now trading
that trade would the Kuminga, Moody, and Horford for Murphy and Herb Jones. That trade would be kind of interesting. I would love to see how that trade would pan out. I mean, I don't know if it'd be successful or not, but it looks like a good trade. It looks like a good trade proposal. I mean, we'll see how it works out.
Let's see if it's realistic.
And
so Kuminga, Moody, and Al Horford to the Pelicans, and the Warriors get back Trey Murphy and Herb Jones. Not Herb. Trade successful. So the next piece of this is, would New Orleans agree to this? Do you think so, Shardol?
I think that's possible.
Oh. Well, then, damn it. You win the non-existent contest, the best trade proposal for the night. But then Julian Bashir brings some reality, saying, I think the Pelicans are only trying to trade Zion Williamson. Shardol, Damian LaRoche, who still has not explained where he's been. Look, if you were in prison, respect, no judgment, and we're glad you're out. If it was something else, I hope it wasn't health related. I pray it wasn't health related, Damian. Wherever you were, thank you for the $5 donation. Damian, I think this message is for you, Shardol. Damian missed you. He loves you, broski. No homo. We go and Sizzler.
I miss you too.
I like the love. So the holidays is bringing all this positive spirit.
We go with Sizzler. I'm a stay-at-home son.
Really like your open, by the way.
I love the holiday season. Christmas is one of my favorite holidays. Because the reason why Christmas is one of my favorite holidays of the year is because you get to get whatever presents you want. You get to get like a jersey. You get to ask Santa whatever you want.
Not everyone has that luxury, but I feel
no, but you get to ask Santa whatever you want for Christmas. I mean, Santa asks like, "What do you want for Christmas?" And then some kid says, "Dude, I want a teddy bear for Christmas," or I want a jersey for Christmas, or I want like a Barbie doll for Christmas. I want something for Christmas. Get me something.
And again, Shardol, if you are a stay-at-home son, I subscribe to SGA Sports Talk. How many subscribers do you have right now?
I was at 512. I gained 1 subscriber. I'm at 513.
Look, better to gain than lose. So congrats on that. And again, folks, we always promote Shardol's YouTube channel, SGA Sports Talk. I do hope everyone got what they asked for from Santa. Shardol, have you seen the movie Red One?
Red One? I have never seen that movie. What is that movie about? Can you please tell me what's
it's a Christmas movie. It has Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Chris Evans, a whole bunch of other people. I just watched it the other day. It was actually entertaining.
I love movies with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in it.
There you go. Any final thoughts, Shardol? Let's get the hell out of here. I want to eat.
So viewers, make sure to make sure to smash that like button. Make sure to click that like button, smash that subscribe button, ring that notification bell for Golden Days in reference to the 1993 Matthew McConaughey movie Dazed and Confused, and also subscribe to the SGA Sports Talk channel. I'm at 513 subscribers. I'm on the road to 600. So if your viewers can go there and click that like button, so it'll boost up the YouTube algorithm, help me a lot on my channel. But I'll definitely join you for the Golden State Warriors and Toronto Raptors post-game show tomorrow, after the game.
Shardol, real quick. Our Golden Dazer Tracy McKendall is saying that one of our OG Golden Dazers, Damian LaRoche, had family immigration issues. Is that true? Oh my God. That sucks, man. Damian, I hope you're okay, dude, and your family's okay.
I'll make sure to join. I'll make sure to join you for the Golden State Warriors and Toronto Raptors post-game show right after the game concludes. I'll definitely be there, and I'll jump on it right when the link is in. Right when you send me the link to my email, I'll definitely jump on and click on that link and join the show right after that game is over.
Oh my God. Okay, so that sounds good. I'm looking forward to it. Shardol, I never send the link until I see you in the chat. So the moment you make your voice heard in the chat, the link comes your way. Damian LaRoche, oh my God, your stepson was like deported? Jesus Christ, dude. I'm so sorry. That is absolutely awful.
Can I
Shardol, can you imagine like your child suddenly being sent away? That will be
the saddest thing ever if a family member got taken away from you, and then they got taken away for good. That would make me so sad if that actually happened.
Oh my God, yeah, saying that his visa was frozen. Yeah, we're in crazy times. We're in crazy. Damien, I'm so sorry, brother, and I'm glad to see you again. I hope it resolved itself. Jesus, that's brutal. Chardol, are you doing good? Is your family all here safe?
My family's all safe. We're on the way to Vegas right now.
Dude, I forgot about that. I thought so. You're doing Vegas for New Year's?
I'm doing Vegas for New Year's.
That's amazing. What resort are you guys staying at?
We're staying at the Strat.
The what?
The Strat.
The Strap?
It's a resort. It's a resort and casino.
The Strap. I've never heard of that. Hold on, let me look that up.
No, Strat. STRAT.
Oh, you mean Stratosphere?
Stratosphere.
But is that what they call it? Is that the new like lingo? They call it the Strat?
No, they shorten it to the Strat.
That's what. Yeah, same thing. Okay, all right, go. Well, have fun. Did they still have that ghost bar at the top where the floor has that? They have that little section of glass floor.
The rotating revolving restaurant.
Is that still there?
They have a rotating revolving. It's still there. It's called the Top of the World.
God. You're incredible. Have fun. Are you going to bet on the Niners tomorrow? Are you going to bet some money down on the Warriors? Anybody?
I'm going to bet on the Niners to win both of their games.
Is Niners Bears in Levi's or is it over in Soldier Field?
Niners and Bears is in Levi's. Seahawks and Niners is also in Levi's as well. Both of the games are at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara.
So
NFC Championship game is probably also going to be in Santa Clara, and the Super Bowl is also going to be in Santa Clara.
I'll tell you what, man. I'm buying a Brock Purdy jersey if he can pull this off.
I have a Brock Purdy jersey.
I'll buy one and I'll wear it.
I brought it with me on this trip. I brought my Brock Purdy jersey on this trip.
By the way, Money Checkup is joking, saying Circus is called the Shat. But I bring that up because what most people don't realize, and I hope it hasn't changed because times do change, but Circus has the best steakhouse I've ever visited in my life. Like, I've never had and it's a very classy joint. It's not what you'd expect. And it's been about 15, 20 years since I've last been, so I don't know if it's still there. But Chardol, if you want to surprise your family, take him to the steakhouse in Circus. You won't regret it. It was a phenomenal experience.
If I get the experience, we'll definitely go there.
All right, Chardol, I love you. Have fun in Vegas.
I know Sharia is your co-host. She hasn't been appearing in the shows that lately. Can I be your co-host from now on? I know I've been asking you for over and over again. Can I be your co-host, please?
Nothing wrong with asking, but for now, I like the setup, man. You're the closer.
Let's keep this setup for right now.
In the works. Yeah.
Let's keep the setup for now because it looks like everything's working with this setup.
I like this, and plus Sharia, we haven't seen her in a while because she's been busy. She's on assignment right now. Sharia, we miss you. We look forward to when you join us next. But yeah, let's keep this set. You are the closer.
So I'm going to give my score predictions for the Warriors and Raptors game for the 28th. Warriors 125, Raptors 100. Stephen Curry with 45 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. 8 of 10 from the